Down there?
What's going sideways? Rocks are up. My arm didn't hit my arm. That was terrible. I know. It was that little guy. That's a very good subject. It's Monday. And I go, I know.
I know people do that. You just see their hands back Maybe you're just thinking about
The ring might stop you. So you're gonna come to
We haven't seen him in a while.
So it's not quite up.
I saw this one.
Yeah, that's what.
I saw this one. Okay, you ready? All right. Good evening. We're going to open the planning commission. We'll call the regular planning meeting order for business and pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Next item on our agenda is review and approve the May 18th, 2026 agenda. Anything changes? I don't think there's any changes. But I'll need a motion and a second.
I move that we approve the agenda for May 2026, Willamette Township Planning Commission.
I support that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried. Next, it is the approval of the April 27th, 2026 regular planning commission meeting minutes. You all should have gotten a copy of that in your packet. Are there any errors, omissions, misspelling, anything that we need to deal with? If not, again, I will do the motion in a second.
I haven't seen any errors, so I'll make a motion to approve the April 27th, 2026 minutes for the planning commission.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. At this point, we open up the meeting for the citizens' comments. We're here to talk about, for the public hearing for the gas station for the zone marketplace, the addition and things like that. We will have a public hearing later on. At this point, you can address anything you want, and if there's any other concerns that anybody has that wants to stand up and let us know anything. If you do, stand up, state your name, your address, and tell us. If not, we'll close it. There is another public comment at the end of the meeting if we have questions after that. Anybody?
Well, I'm Bridget Powers, and I'm told about the garage that we'd like to build on 50 South Orchard. When do I talk to you about that? Is that part of the whole shebang here today?
No, I think what's happening is the way I understand it, when Mariano gives his report, our zoning person.
So that's different.
Yeah, he will talk about the garage addition on 50 South Orchard.
Right.
And
I'll.
Not right now.
yeah,
Okay.
so that
Just
is
want to know when I'm supposed to say.
okay.
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 I won't. Okay.
Anybody else at this point? Nope. Okay. We'll close the citizens' comments. Zoning administrators report. Now Mariano. Now Mariano gives it.
All right, yes, as always, you have, the monthly zoning report for the month of April. Pretty much, going at the same rate as last year. We have two zoning compliance program. One compliance inspection approval. Two new addresses, and we took, the intake for St. Leonard's Church, South Leonard. And that's gonna be coming up because they're gonna have to, we ran out of time, for the special permits, and we're in all, in February.
Okay.
Process. So I talked to, their representative, this morning,
Mhm.
I believe we called, the office. And then we're just gonna have to, the process.
Right.
Other issues that I wanted to talk to that I did not have time to do it, put it into the package, but it's the memorandum, to allow for a minor site plan amendment to 50 South Motion. They're adding a garage, to the existing site plan. It's business, commercial, zoning. So under our ordinances, they are allowed to have the facility improvement. They provided me with the description of what they're going to do. They provided a site plan and floor plan and everything about the structure of the planning. So under section 4.3.1 and 4.511 and 17, they do comply with the requirements. And then under section 719, I'm asking for your certification that will allow me to be zoning compliance permit. Based on that we need to do a full site plan review, based on minor and then the system site, which is.
Okay. Okay.
So today I'm just asking for you guys to give me that certification that you will let me go ahead and look at the zoning compliance permit.
Okay. Okay. All right. I think a minor amendment to you, do you?
People do that without us.
Right.
It's, yeah, I can do it. I can do it administratively, but I need you guys to.
It's minor.
Okay. All right. It's a fairly large commercial building, and they're adding a garage. How big?
Driving a garage 30 by 40,
is that?
structure on the back side of the building.
Okay.
With the burn and the building itself off the parking lot.
Okay. Okay. All right. Did Dan get a chance to look at it? Or no?
We didn't.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, it's 30 by 40 building, and it's in commercial. I mean, there's no other,
It meets on the requirement.
if we sell the requirements, I'm thinking we could just go ahead and do it administrative.
Like it should at least be an agenda item. I'm sorry, I'm late getting here.
Right, right.
It should at least be an agenda item.
We didn't have,
So we should have some documentation.
yeah, it just came in like late. Yeah, so we didn't have it. I'd asked Mariana to bring the site plan. And
I have a copy of the site plan adapted that I would like to do. Also, it was, they have, we got the whole application and the whole process done after the deadline was middle. Working through this meeting.
right.
So I know that the owners are here and they're under the time crunch. Where they can start them early, so it's up to them to start.
And do we know what the building's going to be used for?
Vehicles, our cars, storage.
Well, there's no exterior buildings on this property for housing anything like lawnmowers,
Oh, okay.
snow removal equipment, which they have a side by side with a snow blower on vehicles. And they need storage, and that's what we're gonna put upstairs, so multiple uses.
Okay. Pretty much just storage.
Yep.
I'm not going to run anything out of
Oh,
it.
No business.
Oh, no.
What do you guys think?
Again, I apologize. Getting here late, so I kind of got the last part of it. But, if this is an application that you've been looking at and reviewing, and you've had it for a while,
The zoning compliance room,
with zoning compliance,
and that triggered the whole process of trying to figure out if it's a minor amendment, but system site plan. But then we've been working with them to provide that material. But it's all.
well, it would be helpful. I mean, it's really hard just to have something, well, it'd be really helpful that we, I mean, you've got site plans and stuff to have, everybody should have the site plan and say, this is what it is, and it meets all the criteria, and this is what we want to add. It's a little hard to just, in my opinion, to just, have it added last minute with no documentation and no, it's about the same, well, maybe it's gonna affect circulation, maybe there, I don't know, it needs to be some landscaping changes or something, I don't know. It just seems like a lot to ask without any information. But that's,
I guess I thought minor adjustments don't need to come to us at all.
right. Well, we've had it
So
before
it's-
where they have steps to determine it, I mean, sometimes it's
Yeah.
like, right, sometimes it's like
But
adding a trash thing and it's.
At some point,
True.
at some point you decide whether it's minor, or if it's major.
Under the ordinance, I did check what the requirements needed to be and whether or not they met those requirements.
To be a minor site plan.
Yeah, that's the site plan that we put in the street. And once I made that determination, then it was, how do I get the board to certify it? But the ordinance gives them the ability to come to the board and ask for that certification of that decision.
I guess I'm empowered. I thought if it was something really minor, you could administratively say that.
Right.
But sometimes it's big enough
I
that
can't, I can say that, but I still have to get your approval. So I could have done the site plan review and approve it, but the ordinance requires me to ask you to certify my decision to approve it.
no.
So if we knew this 15 minutes ago, we could have put it on the agenda. Which we didn't, because we didn't know.
Here, I might,
Okay.
oh, I'm sorry.
When we approved the agenda, it wasn't on the agenda. But if we'd have known, like I say, 15 minutes ago, that this was coming up, we could have put it on.
The only problem I see is if we put it on the agenda, we don't have anything. There's no plan, there's no
So
nothing.
then you don't even have it on the agenda, you approve it, you have no plan and
Well, I
not an
know.
item, and that makes it better.
I don't think I think what we're basically saying is Mariano has the right to do.
Well, I thought, like Howard said, I thought he already did. If it's something, I mean, sometimes they want to get a flower box or something,
Right,
sometimes
right.
I didn't know that, but sometimes it's debatable.
Right.
Because there is a checklist, but it's somewhat subjective. If I remember right, I'm not looking at it because I wasn't prepared to discuss it.
Right. Dan.
Yes, I guess sometimes it's helpful to go right to the ordinance language. I, as the zoning administrator, Mariano discussed, we're looking at the initial scope of the project and kind of determining what that involved. And there are a lot of exemptions from formal site plan review that fall into that minor category. So this is a standalone building. You're eligible to have a minor building site modification, including non-habitable structures that will not have a significant impact on including land uses. So this being a garage, not assuming anything that's inhabitable structure, that would qualify in that category. So that's kind of the first hurdle of determining if it would be a minor change. And this is a little bit unique, but it is, just going to go right to the ordinance where this is written. In many communities, if you have something that's minor, site plan approval that goes right to the zoning administrator, you don't necessarily have the planning commission to do anything.
Right.
Which is what I did earlier. In this case, the actual language specifically, the minor changes may be approved by the zoning administrator on certification in writing to the planning commission that the proposed revision does not alter the basic design compliance with the standard of Article 7, or any specified conditions of the site plan is agreed upon by the planning commission. I believe zoning administrator to give that. I think what that's saying is essentially the zoning administrator has to provide a letter to the planning commission.
Right.
We're not seeing any other required action by the planning commission, so
Right.
it seems that the straight text just requires like a letter that's submitted to all normally that explains the rationale there.
That's fine. I mean, if he looked at the criteria, that's his decision and his judgment. I have complete confidence in that. We have had issues before where it was kind of pushing the envelope on whether or not it was arguable whether or not it was minor. But yeah, the way you read that, it sounds like he has to give us certification, and so we have written notification. We aren't making a decision. So in which case, it doesn't
Right. He did send me something
his
this afternoon.
determination. If that's his
He did send me
determination.
something this afternoon, and then I asked, thought, to bring something to everybody. I didn't print it out, I just, that's okay. I mean, I think basically what, the way
Yeah, I
that.
can definitely send all of you guys, say that,
You don't need to send it to all of us, just send it to Marlene.
I've got it.
she has.
Yeah,
I apologize. I thought you were asking us to make a decision.
The decision is for you guys to
It's
let me.
accept your letter.
Yeah, accepted, yeah, yes. That's,
I'm sorry.
that's, and the way he was reading the ordinance, all Mariano has to do is the letter stating what they're doing and things like that.
and then that goes with the
Goes to.
site plan in our records.
Exactly.
So there's a trail.
So there's a
This
trail of
happened,
how
and it
that
was
happened, yeah.
approved because of it.
So,
And the plans, I would like, if you guys would like me to provide you with the plans and elevation, once they apply to the full zoning compliance from them, I can please do that. Otherwise, we do that for the office.
Yeah, as long as. Fine.
yeah. That's, I mean, that's the way I'm thinking about it. We kind of include it, and we basically just making us aware of it.
Yeah, I know that it's, I don't know.
No. So, okay. Think I'm good? I think we're good? Everybody?
Good.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mariano. Any questions for Mariano? Any other questions?
Yes, what did Razorbacks want to do that got denied?
They wanted to add a building to their site, but they have a special use permit on that property that is not allowed for the second.
I got you.
So it was almost the same situation where they applied for a zoning plans for it. I started looking at it, and then I find, oh, they have this, so I can do the joint plans for it. So then I give them the option of other methods of how can we move forward. And with that, we ended up in the roadblock that we
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? No, more questions? Thank you, Mariano. Old business, data center ordinance update. We're kind of working on this for a couple months. Made some suggestions last meeting. Things could be. And Dan, I know you said something over with the suggestions we made that we added to the ordinance. And there's things we have to talk about as to like, decision on a couple things, is that correct? Or we can move forward?
It would be good to get some direction from that over those, but yeah, I'll have to go the whole background again.
Okay.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for bringing this agenda item back. I, at the control meeting, was given direction to add some language into the zoning ordinance, and we knew that we were not gonna have a public hearing tonight or like a full review, but we did want to keep progress moving forward on adding some additional information. So, the package you've been given, by staff, page 13, there's a new definition for monitoring wells. We're going to the monitoring wells, monitoring impacts on groundwater related to withdrawing water for this use. If you look at page 14, we started to zero in on some dimensional requirements for both the large scale and small scale data center uses. We clarified that the minimum land area is as required under the light industrial zoning district would be the default. There wouldn't be any special land area requirements except that, of course, in a large scale site, you have a 150-foot setback to the building and a 100-foot setback to the parking areas. We also noticed that, at least for now, we put a 25% open space requirement in the draft language, which can be written very specifically or can be written kind of more generally to just capture a wide variety of open space. You can be more specific and state that would be undisturbed tree cover, wetlands, essentially undisturbed areas that are left. Generally, we're saying preserve the open space. We've also added on that page that the substation or any other above ground structure related to power demand will be subject to that 150-foot setback. And then there's a lot of additional language now pertaining to decommissioning. And I think this is something that's more of a work in progress, something we may have more providing for maybe next month for the public hearing or next time we have a full review of the zoning ordinance. We've added some language on page 15 of the packet that describes the financial security. We'll be providing a bond, letter of credit, or other financial security. Listing the township as a beneficiary. Depending on how that thing is structured, the township would be an obligee. The township would be able to require that the security is reviewed and updated by a third party, like their township attorney, or another party at the owner operator's expense, following the execution of the original agreement. And there's some additional language about decommissioning, just clarifying that we're looking at the decommissioning plan should have a process for removal of specific equipment. Different things that are involved with that will be requiring different processes for removal. There will be a requirement that the owner and operator will have to have sufficient funds available for decommissioning and restoration, including but not limited to the posting of that financial security. So simply that letter of credit or bond. And then this is a clause that I think we may want to work through a little bit more, that the terms under which the financial security and the set under that section will be executed and enforced by the township, including penalties for failure to provide that security upon a continuous period of inactivity without decommissioning the site. Essentially, what we're saying is the decommissioning plan should include the clear language about when the owner is required to submit a bond and a letter of credit. But they took a wind down like project. So in the upfront submittal, they'll have to have a decommissioning plan that tells you at what point. And they may not know what year, but certainly a clear point in which they ramp down their activities or phase out and stop their activities, that they would have to submit a bond, a letter of credit, and start the process of moving down the equipment and restoring the site. Ultimately, I think this section should have a little bit more work done with it. I think we'll need to have this be something that everything that's involved in the decommissioning section should be part of a recorded development agreement. That makes something that's recorded against the property that just sits in a essentially like a figured lockbox with the county register of deeds that every party is holding to in the future, no matter who's how it changes hands, as it's something that we're running from the hand. So just some clarifying language there about the financial security, a little bit more detail about the decommissioning process and how that would be rolled into the development agreement. I think that we're still working on how to give you a little bit clearer language on for the next time we do this. I mentioned, I noted here that we want to put this is kind of detailed, but look at page 15 and 16. The section that describes acceptable forms of financial security decommissioning, that should probably come after the section where we talk about the plan, which is kind of a detail item near the end of that list. And then some clarifying language on that section. One thing that we wanted to ask you on the planning commission a little bit more about, we started to scratch the surface of this last month, but fencing. We mentioned, we had a big discussion about the idea of walls or opaque fencing versus transparent fencing. I think the recommendation would be that you're going to have very, very clear landscaping requirements on the whole perimeter of the site. It should probably be the planning commission's prerogative to require a wall area around everything but the public frontage. Possibly public frontage on the street as well, but typically we want to have something more decorative or something not as imposing on the frontage. So by default, you might say something like you have a requirement for a 6 foot tall metal fence, like black metal or uniform aluminum or wrought iron fence on the front, and then along the sides and rear lot lines, you might have wall fence that's opaque. And then we can have some language in there that leaves some discretion to the planning to make modifications like that. So that's I think the only open-ended item that I think we're still looking for some clear direction from the planning commission on at this point before we have kind of a full draft ordinance in place. But everything else is just putting details in that we discussed first in April and the process of finalizing this ordinance and all that.
Question. Question.
What is subsidence?
That is the act of when you draw groundwater from the well. I'm not probably going to describe it well. Yeah, it's a technical word, but it's you're kind of caving in the subsoil and the substrate. So that's something that's regulated heavily mining activities and other groundwater extraction activities. That's something with monitoring well. I don't know all the equipment that's involved with monitoring wells, and people mention that.
One thing in general, not a lot of places, but I think it's on that where there's reports required, and I think we should say the report needs to go to the township. I mean, they need to monitor it, but if they're monitoring it by themselves, it doesn't do any good. We need to have a requirement that they make a report annually or whatever. And then Yeah, I'm worried about the fence thing, and I think that's great if we can leave it to planning commission's discretion, because it's gonna depend on where it is. I would imagine, so rather than hire hands for something. Maybe if they need to defend details. But decommissioning the, financial security, I assumed that was the bond or whatever happened when they applied, when they did their application and they got their, when they built, not when they decide, okay, we're gonna start winding down. At that point, they could just go out of business and walk away.
Yeah,
The way you were talking about just now, it sounded like, okay, this is obsolete now, it's been 15 years, and now we're gonna put it down, and now we get the bond. What did you mean and what normally happens?
yeah. There's places where you might require that, for construction, I'm not sure if the council has a general policy that, you use for construction. To make sure facilities are built according to plan, you might require a bond, or especially for like the public improvements part of it, like if there's new water main.
Right, it's like the front end kind of thing, this is like a back end.
So for the decommissioning, that's a good question. With that issue, that's the question comes down to, are you going to require the developer to essentially do a cost estimate on what it's gonna cost for them to deconstruct the project in today's dollars, and then, write a letter of credit or a check maybe that sits in a safe that maybe the township would produce in this time or something that they would be able to use no matter what down the road to decommission. Is that kind of what you're asking? Is you require payment up front?
Well, that's the way I assumed it would work. But so I don't know, maybe if you could research that and see how it's usually handled, because we have the most leverage when they want to build. When they want to take it down, we don't have any way. I mean, there's no incentive for them to comply with that, or they can underestimate or whatever. Or they could just walk away.
Well, they won't get their bonds then.
No, if they don't set a bond, if they don't.
Oh, you gotta have a bond.
Well, that's what I'm asking, the way he explained it. They're in business for 15 years, and then they're like, okay, it's obsolete, we're gonna take it down. Now we get a bond.
Well, you don't want to limit credit to
Or-
a lot of growth.
well,
If they
either-
go out of business,
With,
you gotta have a bond at some point. That buys somebody else.
right,
Yeah.
but up front,
Of course.
right.
All gotta be up front.
That's not what he said. So he just explained that, so that was my question, how does that work?
We gotta have a bond up front when they start building.
Right.
Specifically for reconstruction and demolition and restoration. Okay, yeah, that's something the ordinance would be clear that there has to be a cost estimate that.
Maybe it's a percentage of the construction cost, or, but maybe you could research that.
Yeah.
That's
And I know.
one of
that's
the
how it comes
townships
up,
or places was real.
Yeah, that's how it comes up with removal facilities as well. I think those ordinances for large scale removals are a little farther ahead than many communities have for data centers. And so we could look at some examples of those, see how those are.
Ideally, you need enough money to tear it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can certainly do that at planning with specific. And, rather than saying, we'll put that in the plan and agree to it in writing of how that's gonna happen. Prior to that, it's a third file time, something. Or prior to its building permits. Something like
Okay,
that. Makes sense.
all right. Another thing,
I did have a question with the master plan amendment. It sounded like it was written for only amendments to the map. And it seems like, it should apply to the text too. I mean,
It should apply to the text as well.
I'm looking at, I made that note on page 17, 14.2.a. Yes, these are the process of from the planning commission to study and review requests for amendments to the future land use map.
Oh, yeah,
Gotcha, yeah.
yeah, it's definitely.
Or just take the word map out, I think would probably.
Right.
Yep.
We could, well, this is the master plan.
Yep. Good point.
Oh, and also, with that, it was a little confusing, the language on it. 14.1.a. But I would. It seems like it should say something about them demonstrating the need. That should be part. Well, just. Yeah, there's the thing that should be studied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last sentence, I think it's one big sentence.
It's a lot of things.
I think the last sentence under 14.1a. It's a bad. It makes it make it stronger. Just central part of this.
Yeah. Alright.
And that's where that's very important for a new emerging land use like this. Things like housing and affordable housing, those are things that and people can debate more about those things are needed, but there's clearly a economic need and public health and welfare need to have housing in the community. So that's something that's clear, the demonstration of the need, but something like this, it makes it clear that if somebody's going to propose new land use that is opening up the public and master plan, allowing new land uses to come in, they need to make a clear case based on economic studies or based on public input, feedback on that, but it's really necessary.
Yeah, and the data centers, how do they get around to the engineering zoning? Don't they have to demonstrate a need, a regional need? Anytime region, I mean, the processes they're doing are functioning all around the world. It's not just their Southeast Asia. The data center isn't.
And that's
right. I mean,
that's why I think it's important to have be something that, as far as we know, probably not. But that's what we developed for that in the case. We could have leverage to say we haven't had looking into the case. The residents of Southeast Michigan or Michigan don't need this land use. But the way it is right now, that's not clear, and it's not clear. There's no.
Right. No, I think it's a great point to. Yeah, I think that's very good. Address it.
Everybody else. Somebody else. I agree.
Great
I
job.
thought there was something in there about we were gonna open up our master plan and change it. They'd like to demonstrate the need. There was something.
Well, I did say that we could require studies and everything, so maybe that.
Yeah.
Well, we should definitely include the term demonstrated. There's a different, I don't think it's right from the Planning and Enabling Act, but there's a legal terminology that's used to kind of, based on case law or cases over the years, show when you need to, what you need to prove to,
Yeah.
that it's, right, so
Yeah,
it's just
good
like we can demonstrate economic need or something along those lines. I'll make sure we use that.
Great.
Okay, the next step forward is to set a public hearing for our next meeting. And then we can fine tune it, tweak it once we get comments from people. And we'll say get that. Does it sound reasonable? I would say yes. I think we got one. Yeah, next week, that's right, because the holiday. Yeah. Why don't we do that? We set something, public hearing for our June meeting, the fourth Monday. We've got plenty of time to get it into to the paper for notice. Hmm?
So what you want to vote on?
So, I don't know, maybe people find it not to mention it, we have to join.
Right.
Everything. So, are you familiar with that? And it's one thing, they're working on the master plan for that. And how would that potentially figure into the whole master planning issue for a data center?
Right.
So that's something that's gonna come up. There's a possible zoning or master planning for that area.
Is that something, I know you have representative on that point.
Yeah, the two of us.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, is that something you want there to be some feedback provided when we go to public hearing, potentially, just to get some, information on that?
Well, we're having kind of a public open house outreach or something Wednesday after the at the Sylvan Township Hall and the master plan for the not data centers, but the master plan for that region, that area. It's only it's just over 200 acres.
Right. Not huge, but it's pretty, it would be viable. What is it long? Is it all zone diet? It's all zone diet?
Is it all owned by one person?
No, just present.
Whole place here?
Yeah, but they would have to go to you guys for the zone. If they wanted to do something for it.
I wouldn't know that.
Okay, all right. We'll set the public hearing for June and kind of refine a little bit of this, to look into like the decommissioning, what other townships or what other cities are doing regarding that decommissioning. But like I said, I agree with that to be a plus.
That public hearing can be notified in the manner that we just broadly address what we're looking to making the zoning ordinance, and there can be a lot of detail that comes out of that public hearing that respond to. So, plenty of room input once that happens.
Yeah.
I imagine, it's a pretty impactful issue, especially in this area, so probably it's input from it. So that you can find this, we'll take that input here, concerning the statements and make sure we're addressing,
Right.
planning commission in here for that.
Yeah, once you get the public hearing over, then we can, if there's like, this is the topic, find it, move it out of the board. Okay. Any other questions for Dan regarding the data center ordinance? Nope. Good. At this point, we are going to do new business, the public hearing for the zone marketplace. I think what we'll do is we'll give Dan or the applicants kind of a little time to say what you're doing, what, that kind of stuff, and then we'll open up to the public for their comments. So, anyway, Dan, you wanna?
Yeah, I can give, my report, and I'll mention a little bit about the background of this case, but maybe folks who have to call your notice for today, but this, report that our team wrote for this meeting, beginning on page 24 of your packet, it's to restate the use that, this planning commission went on the preliminary set plan for its use in March. The use will involve the construction of a 2,678 square foot addition onto the 2,442 square foot retail store that's associated with the current gas station. That's 3 islands with 6 pumps for regular gasoline fueling, and 6 islands with 6 pumps for diesel fueling. There'll be some parking circulation, landscaping improvements, resurfacing in areas except for near the diesel fueling area at the northeast end of the site. And some of the fueling pump devices will be replaced in that part of the site, so by the diesel area. Something that's kind of been worked through as we review this request is that the proposed site plan involves a modification to the existing use through line property, which includes both the gas station and the retail use. The gas station or automobile service station that is currently in the zoning ordinance is identified as a special land use in the DC General Commercial Zoning District, where this site lies on. And that's under section 4.5.11 of the zoning ordinance. The site's existing gas station and retail store were granted final site plan approval by the Long Beach Township Planning Commission in 1989. We to date have not had documentation of the special land use, original special land use approval that is in place very often for the long-standing gas station dating back before the adoption of the zoning ordinance, and we can call it special land use today, and not been when it was built. But the fact of the matter is that it's currently a special land use, and it may not have always been a special land use. Now, the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act allows the local government for when special land uses are approved and modified. In section 2.3.9.8 of the zoning ordinance, there's a requirement that amendments beyond minor amendments. We talked about minor amendments earlier tonight, but those include anything that's in addition to existing commercial building that's greater than 20% of the floor area or 1,000 square feet. So the retail addition is more than a minor amendment. So you have a site plan with a major amendment to one aspect of the site, even though it's not a special use, it's still part of the site that has a special use. And so under those terms, the amended site plan must undergo application and review for a new or amended special use. So that's why we had and that part of the process is now included as well. We have to reevaluate the special use that's on the site, which is the gas station, in addition to the site plan we've been performing for the retail edition. We're really just to reiterate, there's no change to the gas station on the site. But because the site was built based on valid approval for final site plan, and it needs to be modified, and because the site plan contained what is classified as a special land use, the application must follow the process that requires a special land use permit. So the applicant's current application should be amended to include the special use approval. And so tonight's review involves both special use consideration, which involves a public hearing from members of the public right here, and hearing their comments, considering them. There would be a separate motion for special use approval, and then a separate motion for final site plan approval as well. With respect to those two items, often you get a sense of how suitable the special use is based on the quality and contents of the site plan, and so I can just go over what has been addressed in the site plan we reviewed in March. To kind of tell you how things are progressing on the final site plan that's been submitted. In relation to the site plan that was submitted in March, just going to rattle off some things that have been addressed since then. There are some redundant conditions on the use that carry over, such as no long-term truck parking, no drive-throughs. Those are things that will remain conditions of approval in the final site plan. There's some detail provided on this site plan set. Width of the landscaping, ground floor coverage, basic zoning, more detail on the sidewalk elevations to show that the sidewalks are raised above the parking area. There have also been driveway modifications to improve circulation and safety. There's been one of the two driveways on the west side of the site has been proposed to be closed off. And then the southernmost driveway across from the highway exit is now narrower, but it still has enough room for 2 ways out, 1 way in. There's now a brick jump in provided There's now existing and proposed topographic contours. The landscaping, there is still extensive landscaping on the site, but I went over previously. The space that's available is possible to reasonably accommodate all landscaping on the south end of the site for the applicants in the middle and further statements. And so there was a waiver that was granted for some of the landscaping on the south end of the site. And then there's additional landscapes related to the parking areas by the public road right away at Fletcher Road. And some other landscaping adjustments that have been made. Although there's almost no space between the parking area and Fletcher Road around the curve, because that's a right of way that takes up that whole green belt along that area. So they've been able to fit in a little bit of place along that part, and not a lot. Some lighting adjustments have also been made to remove wall pack style lighting or restrict lighting the system height. And parking space dimensions have been adjusted and increased. That being said, there are some remaining conditions that we find with this submittal in the packet. The road design configuration, so this is not from the applicant, or you about until we get approval from the county, but those are still subject to Washington County Road Commission approval, so that's still a condition that will have to be met. Again, clearing over conditions, but there's no long-term truck parking and no drive-throughs. The applicant should clarify, I don't think we've received yet a copy of a shared parking or driveway agreement. But just to clarify, if there is a shared agreement between the two sites to help understand if there's going to be a crossover or shared parking need between the two sites. There are some plans on the plan table that I don't think match the numbers on the plan. They're broadly compliant with many landscaping requirements. That being said, there's still some additional thinking that we're adding to the table. 22 screen shrubs that are on the plant list. We're not showing on the plan, so those should be removed from the plan list. That's just a minor leftover from the first and second submittal. This is more of a functional requirement, but this relates to the fact that the green belt planting has to serve a screening function. There's a section of the zoning ordinance that states that the landscaping that's there to screen the parking areas would have had to be either a berm or a wall, or it can be a hedge, but the hedge has to be can't see through it. So you should have plants along the hedge that are evergreen rather than leaves in the fall. So there are currently hydrangeas, I believe, and or 9-bark plantings that are suitable outside the site, but then you can be replaced with salt-tolerant evergreen species that really some suggestions in the forward map and working with landscape architect to determine more suitable species. But some recommendations might be dwarf spruce, prairie holly, or Lugo pine. Lugo pine, I'm not sure if you pronounce that. And then something regarding the lighting. There is a slight deficiency with the excessive lighting, that there's 3.9 foot candle maximum between two fixtures where no more than 3 are permissible. And so if that's something that the applicant does not think can be adjusted, then the planning commission would have to grant that approval. And maybe there's a secondary reason that there would be excessive lighting allotment. That and should clarify if they think that needs to be addressed. And the planning commission would have to make a recommendation that that can be acceptable to go forward with the board. And also with the final set plans in the middle of the logistic file for construction of the township, which would be a clearer delineation of the lot line with the there's a graphic in the packet on one of those pages in my report. I don't know the exact one, I just put it's 36 that shows where that line is, property around it. That's being shown on the final code record drawing. If you notice indicating compliance with zoning ordinance requirements for fire hazards, safety, sign locations, illuminated signs, and sign safety. The a few other remaining conditions that, again, these are just, are kind of related, but proposed stormwater management and drainage are subject to approval by the township engineer and the drain commission as necessary. Proposed signs must comply with Article 10 of the zoning ordinance and are subject to a separate permitting process. And this carries over from preliminary site plan approval. I don't believe anything extra has to be done now, but there is still a waiver for up to one parking space and 6 regular parking spaces. Or 1 parking space in regular places. And the final site plan approval is conditioned on the planning commission granting the amended special use approval. And finally, there are some site plan items that we were made aware of from the township engineer, and we have copies of that memo. I sent with the design engineer today. Those pertain to demonstrating an accessible route from the parking spaces to the building entrance, demonstrating sidewalk and turn the entrance to the vehicle compliant with smooth concrete and trip hazards. And that may require some reconstruction of the sidewalk, and then resolving some textural issues throughout the site. Now, if the planning commission would like me to, I can now go into findings on the special use. That's that was all conditioned on the site plan. Now we're talking about the overall special use. So my findings on that.
Okay.
So with the zoning ordinance, there are requirements under section 3.3 of the zoning ordinance that the planning commission has to agree to in order to grant special land use approval or modified special use approval. First is that the use should be harmonious in accordance with the general objectives of the land township master plan. This is an existing automobile service and retail use that's trying to be consistent with the objectives of general commercial land use. The second criterion is that the use can be designed, constructed, operated, and maintained so as to be harmonious and appropriate in appearance with the existing or intended essential character of the area. The enhanced landscaping and circulation of the use and the upgraded architectural materials will bring us closer in harmony with the intended character of the area. The third criterion is that the use will not be hazardous or disturbing to existing nearby uses. There will be some additional screening and circulation improvements, including the driveway adjustments I mentioned earlier that will help mitigate offsite noise and light and also reduce hazardous traffic movements. So we think that criterion has been addressed. The use must be compatible with the existing and adjacent land use and will promote the use of land in a socially and economically desirable manner. The existing automobile service station and retail use will be compatible with nearby commercial uses, so that will be addressed. This use must be served adequately by essential utilities and public water and sewer. I'm kind of paraphrasing that requirement. But subject to verification by the township engineer, there will be active water and wastewater facilities available as use. The use must be not create excessive public costs and must significantly decrease property values of surrounding properties. There's no reason to think that this will decrease property values of surrounding properties with the numerous landscaping improvements and architectural improvements on the site. Getting close to the end here, that the use will meet all the requirements and standards of the ordinance, zoning ordinance, and other applicable state. Any other applicable laws, standards, ordinances, and regulations. And this is met subject to final site plan approval and approval by the other reviewing agencies. And then finally, the use will be harmonious with the natural environment or unique natural features. This is a very developed site. It's not going to have a lot of preserved open space, but it will be will have context appropriate landscape and will make it harmonious with the surrounding natural environment to the greatest extent that appears to be possible. So I think from a planning standpoint, the use does meet the criteria for special use modified special use approval. So I feel comfortable making a recommendation subject to the other findings and conditions in the report. So that I'm happy to answer any questions, but I know the applicant's also here and there's no public that might have questions.
Okay, I think what we'll do now is open up for any public comment. And then stand up and name the address and.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sam Martins. I'm the owner to the east of the gas station. I'm new to everything here, so I'm kind of catching up. My only concerns were on the property to the west of us. We have a grain field, so that we operate on. I believe there's an easement. So that was one of my biggest concerns, and then also the driveways. I heard there was possibly going to be a closure and more narrow driveway. What particular driveways are those?
Yeah. You're right. So there's 4 driveways on the site. They're all, I believe they're all non-conforming. The current zoning ordinance requires limit driveway to 30 feet wide, and there are also some what they call access management requirements, that minimum spacing within driveways, so you're not allowed to turn left and have conflicts. And those are under this site being a really overlay district on Fletcher Road. It's going to have north-south of Fletcher Road and everything. So the driveway closure that will occur is the one on the northwest corner, on the west side of the site, closest to regular service. The one across from the freeway will remain open. It's just going to get narrowed up to, I think, 39. Is that correct? So they're going to be there. 40. Yep. And that's going to still allow for two-way turns out of the site and on the site. Now there is the driveway near the northwest corner of the site will be restricted to, at least by sign, restricted for right in, right out. And then the one with diesel pumps remain untouched. Nothing you can do with that driveway. That would allow maintaining the site in its current form. So not a reasonable request to have that changed at all. So the one on the northeast end, the longest one by diesel pump that stayed the same. But all the other ones are either being restricted or the one on the northwest corner.
The northwest corner.
So on the west end,
There's
it's
like,
Looks like they have been on.
oh, it's not like, I always backwards. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So they're gonna go right up what's for Are you gonna still do recycling? Put it down here.
Huh?
Recycling down here.
Yeah.
You know what, why not?
I didn't just recycling person.
Yeah.
Keep the recycling person.
You should put the recycling down here. All the bins, the big containers for recycling.
Well, I know Mark, our, out of the recycling, he was going to talk to the owners or the developers, and so far I don't think they've gotten together.
My only concern is, you mentioned that the driveways are going to be a little more narrow, especially if there's, like, if they're still going to have diesel pumps, or we have sometimes trucks coming into our lot. And he said also the passageway between the properties is going to be a little more narrow.
Is that how I read this?
My only concern is if there's traffic already there, it can be an issue from time to time. Making it narrower, my only concern would be for trucks and stuff, because it's a tight little corner.
Would you want me to respond during Alex' comment? Yeah.
Go ahead, respond because, you're doing what you're talking about, what your team.
I'm Chad Woodlick, I'm the civil engineer on the project. A couple of your items, the drain field. So there is a shared agreement between a couple of properties, but actually the drain field for the gas station
had been relocated out of that shared area, kind of in that grass space south of the cycle lanes. And that's when you can operate as the rate pool, and so there will be no impact to that shared area, which is no impact to that would be much more. As far as the driveway, anything to do with your property, was none of that to the question. I have all that connectivity between the two properties, the diesel pumps are, and none of that to the question. So that's the way it's gonna be, so that's like, and then when you go up the highway, and currently it's kind of this large, this thing, all the way. It's gonna be shrunk down to 40 feet, but that's plenty of sufficient room. It's like 15 foot one way in and then a block down the right out, so kind of like you guys are in one is, but it's essentially the same practice. And then as you come off the highway, this is where you bring it back kind of in. This was where that other little approach is. That's one of the, and then as you come around, this approach is there. There's some modifications. But this is more passenger vehicle. So anything to do with your business and how this operates. Yeah, there's an island here. Yeah.
All right, any other, did you clear that? Explain what's going on, sir? Explain.
No, thank you very much. And are these plans, is there, can I go to the township and look at them?
Yep. On Wednesday.
On Wednesday?
Yeah, we're open Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9 to 1. Yeah,
You said one more time.
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 to 1.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Yeah. And that's on our website as well. Okay. All right, any other, person from the public? Yes, sir. Name.
Guys, my name is Panagulin.
Okay.
Hey, pull it down, see, you help me there, I'm doing 17 there almost, 17.
Wow.
I only started. I might do the deal with guys side, given them a paper, and I get the call, driveways, not change nothing. The gas station. But the gas station, is one big problem, the court. We need a guys, that stuff, you know, that's simply, I wish that the art here, it's house, brother, she tell us, to pick up, that's from there. We make it, something, we make it for the good of the living. We live it today to work in a job, to move to break it again. You do something, make it all right. Plus, I can't do road driveway now because the highways, the trucks, they go all straight. I can't do it this way. Plus, that's what was best. We still have time to go in the gas station, stop in the station. No go to the Guru, go to the Guru, go to the highway. Ditch. They need something to do there. They need something very important. Because the building is all there. The other side, with the building, I think the building. I think it is. The other thing I did, I looked at them. I put together like this house there. There was back then, somebody else buy the black man, that house. I think that house is one that's area there. Someday maybe we will take it tomorrow, someday they do it. The other side, they be kind for them. Other side, they do it. That much started down to the side. Not nothing to do that. That they told me, I got it next to the side. I will grab it there. I told the people they wanted to share the gas station, but not come to actually. Wanted to share the gas station, and they said, give us a station. That will make a difference. Then I don't ask you, I don't know what they do. What is the potential to, you know, we have them. The only problem is in the border. They think it's the problem. Plus, I usually go to the fire department sometimes They need to bring it over. Fire department. You know, the government people are go there. So they put it there, but they just put it there. Very easy. We're seeing it. You do that, I don't know how much food they did. Thank you very much. I'm very glad you have to
Okay.
Like anyone to touch the driveway.
Okay.
You want to touch it.
Okay.
It's not painful, my list.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. So, anybody else at this point in the public? No. No. Okay.
We, officially.
We did not, but it started at 7:57. Yeah. So, I guess I didn't realize we needed a motion to do that. I said I'll
Yeah,
open it.
usually.
That I'll open the public hearing right now.
Yeah, it'll be in a second, so maybe just,
No.
close it.
Yeah, well, that's like, okay, at this point, since no one else has any comment, we will close the public hearing and I'll get a motion for that.
I'm moving close to public hearing.
All right.
Thank you, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, none, motion carried. Okay. So, I think the main thing I'm understanding from the public was the drivers. And I think what they're doing with the drivers is trying to make a better road.
So that way,
I
50
don't-
years I've been there,
uh,
it hasn't been a big high impact accident corner, right?
all right.
You pinch that down like that, you're not going to get those trucks through there. And you're kind of trapped behind the wall once you take this other driveway out. And who's going to police the whole one way in, one way out on the north side?
Well,
Is the owner going to stand up there and direct traffic?
We're hoping that everybody will follow the signs, right?
right.
Chair, I asked about the fire department. Fire department, so they have to make sure they're running over the circulation well.
True, they're gonna get their trucks in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're learning curve to get accustomed to driving it's closed on the west side. But that is something that's required under the freeway overlay district ordinance. Impact that part of the site that's going through site plan review, you have to come into compliance with the separation of minimum separation standards and driveway widths to the greatest extent possible. Something that you wrong. I mean, it will require some adjustment. I'm sure people used to running on the north end of the site there.
All right.
But it's on the zoning ordinance.
So it does, I mean, the way I'm looking at it, the north end side driveway, it's in, good. So it's not gonna be bad. Well,
Turn left and then left going out.
yeah, that's the south.
No, so you turn right in and right out. Correct.
Right. Okay.
Well,
And then all the area,
All the drivers really can make a left.
all the area,
You can make a left out there.
I'm totally for it. I think it's gonna be great. I just don't see the reason that it's wasting a whole bunch of extra money between driveways. The building's out in the parking lot.
We're trying to please everyone and do what you got to ask. There you go.
It's just the ordinance, I mean, the dance,
Or
comments that apply to the ordinance.
the ordinance at this point, and they have not got approval from the erosion. So,
We
right?
have been talking to the road commission.
Keep talking to them, yeah, so. So, I mean, what I'm understanding is.
I already sent my feet.
What my understanding is the area that's opened by the diesel pump, that will be open.
Yes.
So that whole big area there by
That's
the
on top,
diesel
yeah.
is open.
It's gonna stay on top.
Then we got the one coming off the expressway. Is right now, I don't know how big it is.
It's currently 69 feet wide.
Okay, so it's gonna go down to 40.
But the way the
It's
alignment,
in the driveway.
I know, it's just open, right?
the alignment will work out, so when you come up the highway, it's gonna be like a straight shot across.
Okay.
So that way,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
trucks don't have to worry about, it's gonna be, we'll keep the alignment straight,
okay.
but then get rid of the unnecessary.
Okay, so like any person coming off and wants to go to Cybers, they can do it right through there? Okay.
And then go to the diesel pump around the building.
Yeah,
Is that gonna be the same path they've been doing?
yeah, yeah.
It's not coming off the Fletcher Road.
Pardon me?
Trucks coming off the Fletcher Road, that's gonna make it a little tougher.
Right. Yeah.
Big
Swing
trucks.
into the other
You gotta
lane.
make a big swing to get in there,
Yeah,
and you hope there's nobody, if the recycling bins are still there, you hope they're not all lined up there, because then you can't make the turn.
well, you know, I mean, I guess like,
I
so,
mean, they did this according to our ordinance. So
Right, right. yes,
nothing we
it's
can
gonna be
do
a
about it.
learning curve. But I think it's not gonna impede truck traffic in there, I don't think.
It's open now.
Yeah, it's all open by the, pumps, it's all open, and it's gonna stay open.
It has been that way, that traffic flow has been that way
Yes,
since
yes, yes.
way before we took over.
So. So, I mean, it's open by the, I mean, the trucks are typically going for, diesel, so.
I'm there, I would suggest,
I mean,
the applicant did make some adjustments to make the radius of the drive into the driveways wider, so they're all compliant with the 30-foot minimum radius, which is kind of the angle you turn into the driveway at. Those can really be flared out as once you're in that road right away. There's room to, the road commission is around with that, and be pretty quiet
Yeah.
out, and it's deeper in the road, inside the site, different has to meet that with maximum.
right,
And then actually one crossing the two legs will still be wider than that, it's just they're increasing. They're getting closer to the requirement. Would have been 30.
but we'll, yeah, we're in plan. Okay. All right, so, I guess basically, the first thing we probably should do is, do the special use. Okay. You know, probably when it was, when you bought it, and what bought it in 1989,
That's what.
did it have a special use?
Isn't it?
I don't know. I mean, at that point, our zoning could have been different. Could have just been, yeah. We don't know. Things change.
Well, I believe the history of that place, they're way before 89. Right.
Yeah, I got a feeling, yeah, that's what, yeah, but, you know, it was a gas station before they printed the ordinance. So I'm thinking it was probably, if it wasn't a special use at that time, it was overlooked.
Probably,
Or it was just a, at that point, it was just a,
no, it was not. What do you call it? Not a special use, but a regular use.
yeah, allowable use, yeah.
Permitted use in that zoning district,
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
if it's highway
Right, right. So it was allowable use at that time.
for gas.
But now, because of the addition, like, yeah, it's a pretty big addition to the building. So.
Which is not a minor site thing like that.
Right, exactly. Can't let Mario like that. So that's why I'm thinking we should, make a motion for the special use. You guys are comfortable with that?
With special use. With, go ahead.
Well, you can contingent on some other approvals in the, which is, it doesn't need to be stated contingent with the final site plan approval.
Let's do that.
And you might reference.
Contingent with the final site plan approval. And
If you're doing great. You'll make motions and then I don't shut up. Go for it.
And the requirements for the packet reader plan, site plan review. Is there anything else in there? Huh? Dated May 18th.
There we go.
There we go.
We're getting there. Hold it down just a second. All right, all in second?
No, he did.
Oh, you
did, yeah.
Me too. All right, all in favor? Aye, opposed, none, motion carried. Now it's a matter of the site plan. I think Washington County, Health's got to be approved, right? Is that, Dan? We've got some, they've got some approvals from the county. that need to be
Well,
done.
it's a whole checklist.
And the road,
You
yeah.
in the report. I mean,
Right.
it's nicely presented
Okay, so,
on page 1841. Page 18 of the report.
okay, so. 18. So there's a whole list of things that need to be done.
I don't think there was anything in the brief that
No, I think
he
it's all
had said
stuff.
in the report.
Yeah. So, I guess if we, are we gonna, are we gonna approve the final site plan, or are you going to?
No.
With the conditions, or we're going to, what we're talking about? Yes, exactly. How do we do this? No, I'm thinking, we definitely have to,
There's a lot of
approval of the site plan.
You can add them to like your thousand ladies and, you know, a lot of it's what's, let's see.
Right.
But there's also the approvals and the date.
Okay.
What you see.
So, what,
Yeah.
Dan,
Yes.
we can. Did we approve the original preliminary site plan? Yeah, okay. And so. We either apparently, from what I'm thinking, is we're either gonna have to approve the final with all those conditions. Or approve another submit. Is that correct? Some of the
Or
additions.
table, well, they can have a.
Table it while they do that, yeah.
I can say that, it's really about planning commission, either way, reasonable, the report was written in a way that you could, recommend, or you could, move the final site plan condition on that. The one item you want to clarify is, that lighting issue. There's one area where there's maximum between 10 volts, reaches 3.9 foot candles, and it's supposed to be 3. That's something that would require planning commission approval to approve essentially. So that would have to be done. If you're inclined to approve the final site plan, then you also have to do that recommendation for to.
I would,
Yeah, I can comment on that as well, but, what we talked about previously, we were coming here today, we got, comments this afternoon from Dan. Obviously, we know that the UIPC listed that we need to take care of as part of this approval. So our hope was coming here today to get an approval with conditions. We've been working back and forth with Dan and Mariano this whole time in tandem on a lot of these comments. So, for example, this lighting comment, there was issue before at the property line, we had 20 foot candles. We made revisions to light pole location, so all these issues are not about. So there's kind of how we spoke in the last meeting, there's somewhat of a time time for the project, which I know is not a problem, but just end of June is going to be kind of a critical path for the project. So obviously, we know there's conditions that we need to move on. So that's kind of what we're looking for.
Can I ask, is the lighting, the 3.9 foot candle, bringing it down, is that an issue?
I actually was gonna ask, exactly, Dan, where that location was.
There's a table, I believe it's the table of lighting, that there again, if column to the spot is, so we know it's considered large in the phone words or maximum of 2 light fixtures, and I think it says the maximum is 2.9 unless I'm.
No, I see it. I see it. No, that's not a problem.
Yes.
We can get that corrected. What is the maximum? 3. Okay.
Now, we're also passed out something from Adam.
Yes.
And you just got it.
We just got that today.
That, okay.
Those are not issues. Really, I think his main comment is ADA.
Pretty much, yeah.
And we'll
Sidewalk.
ensure that all sidewalk, and there'll be direct passage from the handicap spaces to the sidewalk and it's ADA standard. So one part of Adam's comment, I think he alluded that the walk that we were trying to keep in front of the building, that may have to be removed in order to accommodate that. We will make that right. When we move the regular if that's necessary. Not a problem.
Okay. Well, let's say everyone. We subject to all the conditions and the administratively good people that they apply to the course.
Working for a set of the survey of the sun. Building review the long term.
I'll make a motion that we approve final site plan for the application. We don't have application numbers anymore.
That's 26003.
26003.
Yeah.
With the contingency that the applicant meets all the outstanding deficiencies listed in Beckett and Rader's report dated May 18, 2026 on page 15. And also the Midwestern Consulting memo of May 11, 2026. All three should be there.
Supported, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, well, you have your instructions, what you gotta do.
We got it. Tomorrow, the architect is gonna start drawing.
Pardon me?
The architect's gonna start drawing tomorrow.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Good to see you. I'm gonna say get some air conditioning. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I think we'll move on. Okay. All right. We're gonna go on to committee reports now. Township board activities in it.
We don't have a very long meeting.
Okay.
Warning sirens came out.
Tell
Tornado.
Tornado, someone.
my guys,
There. A warning siren. Who knows where?
I was gonna say.
That's what I'm gonna look into it.
Is that word? Well, certain parts already have.
They have theirs.
Right. I hear that.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Well,
Good.
that's your right there.
Right.
So, yeah, there's a
I
way
know I
to
said
move up
right
to
I didn't hear nothing.
set up an appointment with, Fred Lucas about Gordon Barnes. So on Wednesday, we met with him. And,
Why are we not paying them?
what's the situation? Because the agreement, we never said we could do that.
Never said you couldn't.
No, I know that. Although he's saying that, yeah, that will probably be,
I mean, it's their money, so
well,
why can't they
we're
use it
going
for?
to decide something. All we did was go into closed session about it. And it was mainly to discuss the letter that he gave to us. And so I would think in the next month, something will get set. I hope.
So do.
I know. I hope so.
This is with the escrow town.
Right.
They built a new water tower.
Right, yeah, I
They
see.
want to pay for it.
We said we give them 200,000 and we. But we never, but before you said it, never said we put in the money.
That don't make sense.
I know. It was set up because of concern that something would happen with their private.
Not really. It was set up. We didn't have the fire department. It was called the fire loans. So long ago.
Right.
That there's really nothing that they caused us to have more expense. And so that's what it was for.
In the meantime, the lawyer gets more money.
Oh, well. We got to. And we did have a little bit of a already done, so on Chelsea, Old Manchester Road in Boston. Okay. I mean, that is Chelsea's property. Right. And they already pay an assessment. The city does, for each of their households. So those bins were coming out. I don't know if they're out. They should be.
They were there a week ago.
Were they? They're still there. Are they still there?
They were there a week ago on Wednesday.
They're Friday.
They were there Friday.
Sometime this month they're supposed to. Oh, my.
Where are they going now?
Yeah, we just put together. We really don't have a place for them. Just like we're not gonna have a place with Valley One on Pleasant Road.
I already suggested them.
What was that?
Here.
Right here.
I was thinking to have room in the narrower driveway to have the dumpsters there.
That's a problem.
Right, I don't know what. Mark
Me, I
is.
think they need to go, because I don't see the room. Did you get the trucks when they do the bid? They need the room to make it swing.
Right, no. So I don't know what's been happening with our recycling. We're paying for it.
Right
We're
now.
finding a place to put it.
Yeah. Okay, any questions from the net regarding, board activities? Anybody? No. Okay, thank you, Nanette. Supervisor report. He's not here. Okay. Up to you, Ron.
No updates other than the public hearing.
It's not a public hearing, it's a
The public open house.
yeah.
And we get snacks.
Informational.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, we should.
Let's get some attendance.
We would have that if we had snacks, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Bigger pot.
Ice cream.
Warm ice cream. So,
What day of the week is that?
Wednesday.
Six
But, yeah. So I will say that the way they structured the master plan we talked about is, it's gonna be like a short form, yeah, it's gonna refer to the building. So it would be nice that our, data kind of zoning between us and program is somewhat similar.
Just it.
worry with them, or check with them.
Are they working on one? That's still good?
Thought they put a moratorium in. I think we were, they have to start somewhere.
Right. Okay. Any questions for Ron regarding joint planning? Building in my mind. Nope. I did not have any correspondence. Our public left, so I'm finally.
I got one question. Jill wanted to say something.
If you have a question, you're more than welcome to answer.
If she thinks it's gonna be winter, she's knitting scarves over there.
Is that for you?
That's when you keep on talking about
Well, that's kind of.
So,
Yes.
so I've been hearing about this for months, and I see tonight it was actually an M line, but I don't pay the subscription, so I don't know what it is. The article about the gas-powered generator that's gonna make all this electricity, and it's gonna be right down the road here in half a mile.
Really?
Yeah, on the farm, that where the
So apparently she sold the
48.
The right or something?
rights or whatever to because
No, I got,
transmission lines,
Oh,
and
right, I know.
there's the big natural gas line,
Okay,
and
we're gonna have a gas generator.
I
the
thought she was,
gas generator. But I couldn't read the whole article because I don't pay this online subscription.
Well, that is something that they would have to come to the township to do.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought it read she
So that
sold
was
them
the lead
for
data
48.
centers? That would be backup power for the Celine data.
I think so.
Well,
But
yeah.
it's consumers that's doing it.
Is there right away they're gonna put it in?
That's interesting.
No, I thought what I saw in there, I seen the same thing.
Well, I
That she sold them like 40 acres.
Randy Luke's been fussing about it for months.
Yeah,
And
and she sold them a
she-
chunk of land.
She claims she didn't do it, but I've seen paperwork that says she
Yeah, it's just south of her house, you know,
did.
the strip south of her house. And it butts up to the high tension wires
And
and the gas pipeline.
gas pipeline.
Well, this
So
is like any cell tower, don't we have to?
Well, it's a
No,
new,
This is a utility though, not a cell tower.
right,
Yeah, it's something that there's a line that some zoning ordinance for obviously, like an electrical substation might be a standalone land use, but the overhead wires and the apparatus, like some of the equipment for electrical power
Huh.
is what's called central services, and they don't have to go through the.
that's, this would be generator.
Yeah, so I'd be curious, I'll look into that and see what the zoning ordinance says.
Yeah, see if
I
we
mean,
can
not
find anything.
at the direction of the township.
Because I'm assuming a generator like that's gonna make noise.
Yes,
I would think.
yes.
Yeah,
And all the neighbors are asking about it. And
Okay.
I'm saying, well, I haven't heard
I was
anything.
gonna say, nobody's coming to the
Nobody's-
township.
Nobody's brought it to the township. Billy's not here, so maybe he knows more about it than we know.
Right.
I'm
He's the
assuming,
one that knows.
I'm assuming he does know something
He
about it.
does know something.
This
I
is
read
just for your
the article,
information.
so.
And did you pay for the subscription?
I was looking for it, you're right. I'm like,
Did you pay for the
well,
subscription? Thing to read it?
Sometimes I can, and sometimes I can't.
Right, sometimes.
Lately, you can't read any of them. I can't.
Yeah.
Give you headlines, and that's it.
Well, that's interesting, because that, that's a fairly intensive use.
Oh, yeah, and they say they make quite a bit of noise.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it's on a piece of private property, it's not on the right of way or anything like
Well, I
that.
thought, what I saw is they bought the property.
Pardon me?
What I saw in the article is they bought the property.
Okay, but it's not in the right of way, so, right? It's adjacent to it.
Right. I think, I don't know, unless it comes across her property.
I think it. It's
I can't tap into it. I feel like.
Oh, I'm sure that they can find a way to
We can
Yeah.
do something.
Maybe consumer zones, yeah.
Well, that's the first time I heard of it. So,
Right.
Yeah, I think it's road they want to tap in.
yeah, because that'd be, who's right down there.
Is it supposed to be like a jet engine that's gonna turn to different?
Oh,
There's the
wonderful.
terminology.
Yeah.
How it is, you know. Not the turbines always make a lot of noise, but.
Right.
Right here.
Well, I'm just,
Harmonious and accordance with general objective laptop and equipment.
I don't know.
Need to be harmonious and appropriate.
But we should probably be checking into what's allowable.
Yeah.
Before they show up and.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can check the ordinance, see what you can find. And then I would say we gotta talk to Bill, or somebody's gotta talk to Bill and see what he knows. And that.
I'm sure Bill knows way more about it than I do.
Right.
I just been hearing Randy's been grumbling about it for months.
Right. Well, it's got, I mean, if it was on the right of way, then we wouldn't have a lot of it.
Not in.
Right, and so,
And if they own
Jason, I would
property-
assume, yeah, but it's still not a right of way, we just own the property.
Only so far you can stretch essential services that.
Right.
Depending on what you're doing, I guess I might have to read the articles.
Yeah.
Then again, you can look at the source too, so we want to dig into, but obviously there's only ordinance says about when you call it a essential service that bypasses.
Right.
Versus, something that requires something.
Interesting, I didn't. Good point. Good way to bring it up, and we can at least do some research before it comes to the blindside.
I waited until everybody left. There's somebody watching on this thing.
Yeah.
Nobody's watching. And they left, they decided they had enough. Okay, so anybody else? Any questions? Any final comments? Anything, nothing? Okay. Howard?
I knew we were here.
Second.
All in favor?
You guys are making eye contact.
Yeah, I just knew we was gonna do it.
Comment, but- Yeah.
No, that'd be nice to be proactive.
Yep.
I don't want to end up like Saline Township. They don't, somebody, it's somebody long and, you know,
You're getting into it.
Pardon me?